22nd October 2021. The Hindu Editorial. Scripting History. India must not lose sight of the call of vaccinating all eligible adults by year end. India scripted history on Thursday with its COVID 19 vaccine doses administered crossing the 1 billion mark, accomplished in just about 9 months after the vaccination program rollout on January 16. What is even more outstanding is the targeting of adults. Unlike the established universal immunization program for infants and children, India has never undertaken any massive universal adult vaccination program. That this exercise involving thousands of healthcare workers and others was carried out even while in the midst of a huge number of daily cases in April May during the second wave makes it even more remarkable. It became possible only because vaccine manufacturers, the Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech were able to ensure uninterrupted vaccine availability even if supply was limited in the beginning. If the Serum Institute had the foresight to begin manufacturing in advance, Biotech's capability to quickly develop an indigenous vaccine with the ICMR ensured that India did not have to endlessly wait for vaccine supplies from other countries. If there was hesitancy initially, even among healthcare workers who were the first to be eligible to receive the vaccines, the deadly second wave led to a huge leap in vaccine uptake. Vaccination was opened up to all priority groups and to everyone above 18 years before the second wave peaked in early May. India could have probably reached this grand milestone earlier had time not been wasted in asking states to procure vaccines directly from the two manufacturers at a higher cost to vaccinate the 1844 age group. While basking in glory, it is important not to lose sight of the bigger goal of vaccinating all eligible adults by the year end. Even as vaccine supply is increasing, the pace of the vaccination drive has to be speeded up to meet the objective. If over 75% of the eligible adults have already been vaccinated with one dose, the proportion of adults who are fully vaccinated is only 31%. Since vaccination with two doses is necessary to increase the protection level, efforts should be directed at increasing the pace of second dose vaccination. China has already administered over 2.2 billion doses and fully vaccinated over 75% of the eligible population, even by mid September. Crossing the 1 billion mark became possible as India stopped the export of vaccines, impacting most low and middle income countries. On October 14, nearly 6 months after halting exports, India finally supplied vaccines to 4 countries. Further supplies will depend on production and demand. It is imperative that vaccine production is quickly ramped up to meet demand. Any more delay in meeting international obligations will greatly hurt India's credibility as a reliable vaccine supplier to the global south. Engaging the Taliban. India and regional powers should ensure that the Afghan rulers respect their people's rights. India's participation in a meeting of 10 nations with Taliban officials in Moscow and the signing of a joint statement that recognized the new reality in Afghanistan signaled a decisive shift in the country's approach towards the Islamist group. India had earlier taken a strong position against any kind of engagement with the Taliban. In recent months, when the Taliban were making steady advances towards Kabul, India had established contacts with the Taliban's political office in Doha, Qatar. But this is the first time India met up a top Taliban delegation, which included Deputy Prime Minister Abdul Salam Hanafi, and according to a Taliban spokesperson, promised to send aid. India has vital interest in Afghanistan. Over the 20 years, it has made investments worth billions of dollars, which it would want to be protected. Last time, the Taliban, which have close ties with anti-India terrorist groups such as LET and the JEM were in power, India saw a rise in violent incidents in Kashmir as well as the hijacking of an Indian plane to Kandahar. Now the Taliban say they will not allow Afghan soil to be used by any terrorist organization. It is in India's interest to make sure that the Taliban walk the talk. It would also not like to see an isolated Taliban being Pakistani satellite. To meet these goals, given the new reality in Afghanistan, engagement with the Taliban looks a strategic necessity. But this is a policy that needs to be pursued more through regional diplomacy than bilateral engagement. Bilaterally, India does not have much clout with the Taliban, but Afghan's new rulers who are struggling with an economy on the brink of collapse are keen at this time to engage with regional powers. So the Moscow 10, which includes China, Pakistan, Iran, and the Central Asian republics, has some leverage. These countries also have shared interest in seeing the Taliban severing its terror ties and Afghanistan being stabilized. If not, instability could once again spread beyond Afghanistan's border. For this, the Taliban should be ready to open up their government, share power with other political and ethnic communities, and start respecting the fundamental rights of Afghans. The last 40 years of Afghanistan's history are a brutal example of what could go wrong if one party or group tries to amass all powers in its hands. Despite these historical precedents, the Taliban have shown little readiness to change their ways. In the joint statement, India and the others asked the Taliban to keep their commitment on forming an inclusive government and ensure that their territory is not being used by terrorist groups. These calls should not end with the statements. While India and other regional countries should help Afghans during this period of economic misery, they should also use their collective economic and political clout to mount pressure on the Taliban to make political concessions at home. Thank you.